At Manila's Ninoy Aquino International Airport, a group of Israeli soldiers gathered quietly amid the chaos. Their olive green uniforms stood out, but it was their prayer that truly caught attention. Heads bowed, they recited not in Hebrew, but in Tagalog, the language of the Philippines. The familiar cadence of the Ama Namin, the Lord's Prayer, echoed softly, drawing curious onlookers. Phones came out, capturing the surreal moment. Foreign soldiers praying in the local tongue. For the soldiers, this was no performance. It was a ritual of comfort before their journey home. The Tagalog words, learned in childhood, offered a sense of peace that transcended borders. As the prayer ended, the soldiers exchanged quiet nods and melted back into the crowd. Yet, the question lingered. Why would Israeli soldiers pray in Tagalog, thousands of miles from home? The answer lay in a story of love, memory, and unexpected connection. This quiet act would soon ripple across the globe. The video of the soldiers praying in Tagalog went viral within hours, captivating viewers worldwide. Headlines blazed: Israeli soldiers praying in Tagalog at Manila Airport. Social media buzzed with theories and debates. What did it mean? Filipinos felt pride and warmth, seeing their culture honored so far from home. Many recognized the prayer instantly, touched by the soldiers' sincerity. Others saw it as a symbol of the deep, often unspoken bond between Israel and the Philippines, forged by decades of Filipino caregivers in Israeli homes. Some questioned the authenticity, sparking debates about faith, culture, and identity. Yet, the scene's power lay in its shared humanity, soldiers seeking comfort in a language of love. Beneath the uniforms, people everywhere saw a universal longing for peace and hope. The world wanted to know, what was the story behind this prayer? The answer wasn't found in politics, but in the homes of Israel. For years, Filipino caregivers, yayas, became second mothers to Israeli children, weaving their culture and faith into daily life. Tagalog became the language of lullabies, reassurances, and gentle prayers. The Ama Namin was shared not to convert, but to comfort, creating a private language of love. These prayers became anchors of safety and peace for children growing up amid uncertainty. As these children entered military service, memories of their yaya's prayers returned in moments of stress. The Tagalog words, once a childhood comfort, became a tool for resilience. The mystery at the airport was simply grown children reaching for the comfort of home. The soldiers' prayer was a living echo of the love and care they'd received. It was a bond that distance and time could not break. Consider Eaton, a young Israeli soldier raised by Lida, his Filipino caregiver. Lida, devout and gentle, became the heart of Eaton's home for over 15 years. She never imposed her faith, but lived it quietly, her daily prayers a background melody. When Eaton was afraid, Lida would sit by his bed and softly recite the Ama Namin. The words, though foreign, soothed him, becoming his ultimate comfort. As he grew, the prayer became a personal mantra, a link to Lida's unwavering love. Before exams or during stress, Eaton would hum the prayer, eventually learning it by heart. In the army, the pressures mounted, and Lida's prayer became his lifeline. On lonely nights, he whispered the Tagalog words, grounding himself in childhood calm. The prayer was never about religion. It was about the safety and love Lida gave him. For Eaton, the Ama Namin was a shield, a piece of home he carried into adulthood. It gave him strength to face the demands of being a soldier. Lida's quiet faith became his anchor in the storm. In 2025, a typhoon struck the Philippines, and Eaton's unit joined the Israeli aid mission. For Eaton, it was a journey to the homeland of the woman who raised him. Amid devastation, he witnessed Filipino resilience, community, and faith firsthand. Eaton's knowledge of Tagalog, and especially the Ama Namin, became a bridge. When he recited the prayer with locals, barriers fell. He was no longer just a foreign soldier. The experience deepened his understanding of Lida's strength and the spirit of her people. He left the Philippines changed, carrying with him lessons of hope, community, and shared humanity. The comfort Lida gave him was rooted in the collective spirit he now saw everywhere. Eaton returned home determined to honor what he'd learned. Back in Israel, Eaton shared his experiences and the power of the Amanaman with his fellow soldiers. Many had their own stories of Filipino caregivers, Maria, Tess, and others, who shaped their childhoods. They realized the Tagalog prayer was a common thread, a shared comfort. Hesitantly, Eaton suggested reciting it together before a tough training drill. The effect was immediate: unity, calm, and a sense of belonging. What began as a private ritual became a daily routine for a growing group. Each morning, soldiers gathered for a voluntary moment of reflection, reciting the prayer in Tagalog. The words became a collective mantra for strength and solidarity. It was their way of honoring the women who cared for them and drawing on the resilience Eaton brought back. The barracks, once a place of strict discipline, now held a corner of Filipino warmth. The ritual was not about religion, but about memory, gratitude, and connection. A simple prayer became a source of strength for many. The daily prayer ritual soon caught the attention of others on the base. Soldiers without Filipino caregivers joined, drawn by the sense of peace and camaraderie. The base chaplain, initially puzzled, listened to the soldiers' stories and saw the ritual as an act of gratitude, not conversion. He gave his blessing, framing it as Hakarat Hatov, recognizing the good. Filipino workers on the base, moved by the soldiers' prayer, began joining the gatherings. The ritual became a living connection, uniting soldiers and workers in a shared moment. The prayer was no longer just an echo of childhood. It was a present-day bridge. Israeli soldiers and Filipino workers stood side by side, forging genuine friendships. The simple act of praying together became a powerful symbol of unity. The Manila airport scene was the public unveiling of a quiet movement months in the making. Eaton and his unit, on a layover, instinctively gathered to pray as they did each morning. The Ama Namin became a symbol of unlikely bonds: comfort for Israeli soldiers, pride for Filipinos. For the soldiers, it was a mantra of resilience and a connection to the women who raised them. For Filipinos, it was a recognition of their diaspora's love and values. The prayer bridged two communities, creating a new sense of belonging. Filipino workers on Israeli bases became part of the community, sharing in the ritual. Invisible walls fell, replaced by genuine friendships and mutual respect. The story showed that human connection can flourish in unexpected places. A simple prayer, spoken in a foreign tongue, became a universal call for peace and belonging. The impact of that viral video endures. Morning prayer circles are now a cherished part of life on several Israeli bases. The story of Eaton and Lida sparked conversations about cultural diversity and emotional well-being in the military. The Tagalog prayer is now recognized as a tool for resilience and unity. Filipino communities in Israel celebrate the bond, honoring caregivers as family builders and cultural ambassadors. Eaton remains in touch with Lida, sharing how her simple act of comfort has touched many lives. Lida, ever humble, is glad her prayer brings peace to others. The story proves that small acts of kindness can ripple across the world. Memory, love, and culture are shared not through grand gestures, but through quiet acts. In a world divided, a simple prayer can build bridges across continents and hearts.